Get in, losers! Coming up on the show, Reneé Rapp Oscar. Our plan is steal Nicole Kidman's iconic suit and forgotten bangers. This is the Reneé Rapp-ort. Cue music. Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome into a brand new edition of 1 Hour, One Brain Sale. You can follow us on all of your social media platforms, Twitter, aka X, Instagram, TikTok, all the same handle at OHOBC Pod. Pleasure to be with you. I am joined by my co-host and residential Shin Yun and Joya Jordan.
I've never seen Shen Yun. I feel like that's important to disclaimer. I'm joined today by my co-host Richie Flores. That's why his hat is so big. It's full of secrets.
Yes, it is. Damn right. So many. Deep, buried deep in my closet, too.
So many secrets.
One could say a chamber of secrets.
Oh my god.
Is
it too late?
Picking
Is
up
it too late to quit the podcast? I think it might be too late to quit the podcast.
All right. Well, as you heard, what's coming up on the show, we got plenty of stuff. This is the Reneé Rapp-ort, everybody. This is the Reneé Rapp extravaganza. This is our official, unofficial Mean Girls discussion podcast. That's going to be our theme of the show, of the program.
So I'd also like to say I have my greatest ideas when sitting in a dark theater coming up with podcast episode titles, because I was waiting through the end credits when I sent you those things yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I did, for the record, also like the Reneé Rapp sheet, but I thought that the Reneé Rapp-ort was it flowed better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you did a great job. You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Well, cheers to you. Another great episode. Oh, hey, look at that. Wow, we had the same mug. Isn't that weird?
It's almost like I gave you that as a Christmas gift. We're such good co-hosts. I really want to start with whatever your Ocean's 11 heist plan is to steal Nicole Kidman's AMC Theaters jumpsuit, because it sounds like you have one.
Well, I don't have a plan yet. That's kind of the point of that's the point of this episode, is you got to figure it out, to be honest.
Okay, one of us has to be Danny Ocean, so you gotta get going on
that. Well, the good thing is Jordan and I both enjoyers of every time we go to an AMC, we always stand up and we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, which is the Nicole Kidman intro to every movie from AMC theaters, and she's very well known for the outfit that she wears in that intro, and that particular outfit is going up for auction. Nicole Kidman's suit from her AMC ad is being auctioned at Sotheby's. If I remember correctly, it is being auctioned off for $5,000 to $10,000 as part of the Visions of America series. So here's I
have a vision. I have a vision for America. My vision is that if you all help us raise funds through the podcast, I will bid on this item. And if we win, I'll make Richie go to the AMC where they film this and recreate it in the jumpsuit. And I know that he knows the words. We come to this place for magic.
Mm-hmm. That would be so much fun. I don't know how tall Nicole Kidman is, but I could pull off that suit.
She's 100%. Tall, I think.
Let's see.
I think she's tall. I think she's like maybe 5'10". That might be wrong. She's 5'11".
Yeah, 5'11". All right, perfect. We are buzzing. We're cooking.
It's going to be a great fit for you. I'm so looking forward to this.
$5,000, ladies and gentlemen. You can
or yes. For the low price of free, we steal it. We're not actually stealing anything. Please don't cancel us.
Oh man, actually, they should make them. That would be now. How about that for a meta movie where that like I think they're trying to come up with an Ocean's reboot. That's the whole movie. You got to go steal the $10,000 Nicole Kidman suit.
It feels easy though. Like in the Captain America movie, he breaks into his own exhibit and steals his own uniform back.
That's right. Yeah.
It feels easy. On Ocean's 8, they steal so much. They steal so much. We just have to assemble a team including Anne Hathaway, Sandra Bullock, Rihanna, Aquafina. Let's see if I can remember. Mindy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, and Cate Blanchett. How did I forget Cate Blanchett? She's integral to the whole operation here. So if any of you are listening and you're interested, please help us.
That's our goal for 2024. For 2024, finding a way to get Nicole Kidman suit on the show.
Museum heist.
All right. Next up on the list, this is our Mean Girls episode. The movie starring Reneé Rapp hit theaters this past weekend. Jordan and I both went to see it on opening weekend as the Reneé Rapp stands that we are. And so we did not discuss prior like each other's thoughts on it really, because we wanted to save it for the show. So now context here, I think is important. Both of us coming at this movie from different perspectives, which I think is really interesting. And it makes the review more interesting to me. For example, Jordan, you have a much storied history with the Mean Girls musical.
Ooh, so yeah, I don't feel like I've done a very good job at keeping this a secret because I've definitely mentioned a lot of movie musicals and Broadway musicals in the past here, but just in case this is news, I am a musical theater girly, a Broadway girly, and I do have here show and tell the Mean Girls original cast recording on pink vinyl. So it is for the brand. I'm very familiar. If you play one of these songs in public, it is very likely to trigger a fight or flight response from me, with how deeply ingrained in my bones this is. So I was very happy to be able to bring as an enjoyer of the original film and also an enjoyer of the musical, a perspective in that. And Richie, also just a connoisseur of movies from the early to mid 2000s. So that helps too.
That's actually 100% true. You know what's funny is I didn't see the original Mean Girls until 2015.
I can't say for sure yet. I believe it because I can't say for sure when I first saw it, but it came out when I was probably 6, maybe had just turned 7. So I was definitely too young to have seen it at that point in time, but it was an integral part of our late middle to high school experience, I think, if I had to guess. It feels right.
Yeah, I didn't watch it until 2015, and the only reason I watched it is because I had people telling me that I should watch it and that I would like it, and I had promised them I would watch it. And the first time I watched the original Mean Girls, I did not like it. Now I think the reason for that is because I probably watched it midnight, which was the first thing, and I think I fell asleep halfway through because I watched it so late at night.
Oh no.
And so I held this deep grudge against it for the longest time. I haven't rewatched it because I was like, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't my thing. I rewatched it again, the first movie, about 2 months ago or so. And the second time I watched it, I liked it. It was a little bit better. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It has great one-liners though. Great one-liners.
You mean to tell me, no, hold on. You mean to tell me that you just became an enjoyer of the original Mean Girls 2 months ago?
Yes.
Get out.
That's fair to say. That's very fair to say. Podcast over.
Podcast over. We made it 11 minutes.
When you put together the episode and the thing, the for Instagram or whatever, remember that meme where it's where it's the two friends and it's the guy and the other guy and it's no longer my best friend. So and so is my new.
Yeah. Yeah.
That meme's got to go in here.
Friendship ended with Richie. Reneé Rapp is my new best friend.
Exactly. Exactly.
Please though.
Yes.
Please though.
Yeah, so I was never like the biggest fan of it. And actually, speaking of which, hot take here, hot take. I was talking about this last night with some friends of mine who I went to go see the movie with Corey and her husband Scotty. Went to go see it with them. And they did not like the movie. Boo. Boo for them. And then, yes, gestures. We did it. We did it.
Okay, that was well deserved though. I needed some backup there.
Yes.
A little
Yes.
emphasis.
And so, like, we were out for drinks last night, and then one of our other friends who also saw it didn't like it either. So I'm like on an island over here by myself trying to explain why I liked it. And then I lit the table aflame with my hot take, which is that I'd much rather rewatch this 2024 version than the original, in my opinion, because this movie to me was more fun to watch than the original.
I can agree with you that it's a hot take. I don't know if I can agree with you about that particular take, because I think there's a reason that we got this far, which is that the first one was so iconic that then they decided to turn it into a Broadway musical, and then they decided to turn that musical into a movie. If the first one had bombed and people didn't love it as much as they do love it, we wouldn't have made it this far along the line, along the process. I think it's very rewatchable in the same way that like most other films of that time period that we've come to love are really rewatchable. I guess I could tail us into that if you want to talk about some other movies of that time period that we enjoyed.
Yes, but before we move on quickly, I just want to say that
Mm-hmm.
like the marketing for this 2024 version was terrible because
It
everybody at
was
the
terrible.
table last night agreed, which is they did not go in expecting to watch the Broadway musical adapted to the movie. They expected it to have some musical elements, but not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
be a full-on musical. And I
Can I say
think
another thing
yes.
about the promotion of this? Because if you were like me, I know you texted me that you had some what are they called? Commercials? You had some trailers. Thank you.
Mhm.
You had some trailers during your show that you were seeing if they were the same as mine. My first trailer for this was during the Eras Tour movie, which I think like it was attached to that for most people. There was a line in this promotional trailer, and it was like, "This is not your mother's Mean Girls." I think I actually disassociated, like out of body experience, viewing myself in the third person as I watched my own cremated ashes be placed in an urn. Like the magnifying glass that they use in like the Grinch to see if his heart grew three
Right.
sizes. They put that on all of my joints after viewing that, and they all simultaneously went arthritic. They crunched. What do you mean your mother's Mean Girls? I'm 26. Help.
20
You
years
did,
20 years ago.
you did not need to come at us like that. That was very
So
unexpected.
yeah, so quickly before we move on, I'll read my Letterbox review, which I know I
Okay,
sent to
yeah.
you. Don't follow me on Letterbox, anybody. It's
Please,
yeah,
follow Richie on Letterboxd.
no, don't. Okay, here
I'm
we
gonna
go.
make him watch Saltburn next.
Okay, hold on a second. Digression. There was a clip from that movie that showed up on my freaking Twitter timeline today, completely out of context. And I did not want to see this particular scene on my timeline. And the thing was rewatching Saltburn with my mother. Okay,
I know which one you're talking about.
you saw the same tweet exactly, and I don't know how much I'm gonna say about it, but like, oh,
Don't.
screw it, I'll
It's
say it
better if
anyway.
you don't. Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah, there was. I saw more than I needed to see. I'll just say that. Okay,
We saw a
right?
lot more of Barry Cogan than we needed to see.
Not cool. Not cool, y'all. Not cool.
I was like, it's either gonna be that one or it's gonna be the bathtub thing.
I've also seen that scene too, which is also really disgusting. Jordan, I'm not watching Saltburn, okay? You're
I
not,
didn't.
you
Okay,
can't pay me to watch that movie.
What if I paid you in $5,000 in Nicole Kidman's AMC jumpsuit?
All right, we may have a deal.
Yes. Okay.
then we may have a deal. All right, here we go. This is my Mean Girls 2024 Letterboxd review. This is a Reneé Rapp appreciation Letterboxd review. Give her the EGOT for World Burn. Thank you.
How many stars did you give it? Just curious.
I gave it 4 out of 5.
All right. See, I would agree with you because I think I gave it maybe around a solid 7.5 out of 10, which is fractions wise almost a 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. I did math. I did math. That's probably like the first time in a week that I've done math.
Hey, we'll like it. That's what people come to the show for.
Absolutely.
For memes and
they
math.
come to watch us reduce fractions to the simplest form.
All right, let's move on. Go see Mean Girls, everybody. I promise you'll have a good time. But just know that if it's a musical, folks, okay? It's a musical. Don't go in like my friends.
Did you think that Reneé Rapp was just singing her own name for no reason? Like, how do you... I mean, she could get away with it, but just use your one brain cell, folks. Mm-hmm. Use it.
Exactly. And so I obviously, like you said, you've been around musical theater for much longer than I have. I am a late comer to it, so like I am now that I'm older, I very much appreciate it for what it is, more so than I ever would have back when I was a teenager or younger. So it's fun, y'all. It's fun. Okay, just go watch it. Have a good time for 2 hours and stop freaking complaining. I'll explain that a little bit later on. Because coming up, we're going to do fetch and not fetch. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. But new segment, Jordan, new segment. We're calling this Forgotten Bangers. Forgotten Bangers. I'll let you go first.
Oh, all right. On the spot here. Okay.
Yes.
Where did we got Forgotten Bangers? There's another, I don't know if it's a radio show or a podcast. We love it on TikTok. And it's these 3 hosts that they'll bring in like a song that's a forgotten banger, and they'll play it for their co-hosts and just see what everybody's reactions are. So we decided to assemble some forgotten bangers, both in movies and music, from the range of when the original Mean Girls was released. So do you want to start with movies? Do you want to start with music?
Let's start with movies. Yeah, let's go with that first. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's some that are my personal bangers. We'll see. Richie was taunting me. He's like, I did a deep dive here. I have some really like deep cut picks here. I'll start with things from the year 2003 that were bangers for me. The first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Good movie. Great movie.
Good movie. Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yes, I did not. Here's the thing. So I did not count. I took a different approach to this.
Okay.
Which is I wanted to make sure that I picked movies and songs that I remembered loving when I was a kid, not retroactively. So that's my like, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We were both too young for Kill Bill.
Yeah, I didn't see Kill Bill until a couple of years ago, but retroactively. The rest are things I enjoyed as a kid. 2003, absolute banger. If you haven't seen this, go see this. Go look it up on streaming. It'll change your life. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. Are you
never
unfamiliar?
Seen it.
You're unfamiliar with Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle?
Never seen that one. Saw the newer version with Kristen Stewart, which was great.
No, go back to that one. It's Drew Barrymore. It's Lucy Liu. Why can't I think of her name? Hold on, Googling. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz. Yeah. And Demi Moore. Okay. But it's incredible. It's so I was almost gonna swear, but I don't want to make you edit that out. But it is an incredible piece of cinema from 2003. It was life-changing for me personally. Go watch that. That's just a great action movie. Other things, the live-action Scooby-Doo from 2002.
Oh, iconic.
That one is an enduring
I
banger. I
love
still
that.
would like, I think there's a whole delegation of people that are roughly like my age to your age that would pay a lot of money to go to Spooky Island if it were a real thing. I think that's true. And then from
Absolutely.
2001, that's as far back as I went. Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Arguably, we would not have the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it exists today without that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And my final number one primo banger, The Princess Diaries.
Yes, which I've never seen.
What?
I'll put it on the list. I need to make
Friendship
a list.
ended with Richie. Anne Hathaway is my new best friend.
I'm gonna make a list here, I think. Like I'll put in like removable marker or something, and I'll just start making a list here beside me of things I need to watch. Like
Yeah, what is
right, because I did
that?
I crossed Devil Wears Prada off the list recently, so that we got that. But yeah, I've never seen Princess Diaries. My sisters loved it when we were kids, but I've never seen it. So I
No,
actually all did that. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
no, unacceptable. Watch the
This
whole
is the
thing.
end of the
Princess
podcast, ladies and
Diaries
gentlemen.
1. Yeah, we're fighting. Princess Diaries 1, Princess Diaries 2, The Royal Engagement, and Ella Enchanted. That whole Anne Hathaway ran the world from like 2001 to 2004. And then again, later, she still does. Like, we could argue that she never stopped running the world, but that was really when it started. That was formative. And it has Julie Andrews in it. Everybody loves Julie Andrews. She's a national
She's
treasure.
an icon. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can agree with. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it for my list. What do you got?
All right, we'll go with movies. I have a particular theme here, and my overarching challenge was to stump you and see if you've seen any of these movies. I picked three of them, of which all came out late '90s, early 2000s. They all have a theme. So here, okay, first one. I came with show and tell. Do you remember this movie?
Yes, the Disney Channel original movie Smart House.
Smart House.
Absolutely. That is such a good movie.
That is
Like
a flippin' banger and
it's
very
bad, but
scary.
it's good and it's very scary. Like given all of the technology that we have
Yes.
nowadays, like Ring doorbells, smart thermostats, like all of that, we are one step closer to turning into Smart House every
Smart
day.
House was very omniscient, and like my
It
sisters and
was.
I loved it. It is one of our favorite movies. We watch it all the time. Side note: Disney Channel, bring back the Disney Channel original movies. All
Yeah,
right,
I do agree with that.
for a new generation, because like every single one of them, just banger after banger after banger. So that was my first list. Second,
Smart House is like if Hal from 2001 A Space Odyssey
yes,
ran your nest.
yes. One, that's a great yes, that's a great comparison. That's so funny. All right, second
Thank
one,
you.
also a banger, starring as the villain of this movie, Carlton Lassiter from Psych. Do you know where I'm getting at here?
I might.
Luck of the Irish, dude. Come on.
Ooh. No, I'm unfamiliar.
Look at no.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So see,
friendship.
now you know how it feels.
Yes, exactly. But this is an age thing here, I think, because our what 7 year age gap. That's where that's showing there. Because that movie, I think, Luck of the Irish came out when I was like 8, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
And so I was like,
2001. So I would have been like 4 or 5.
yeah. Okay, so Luck of the Irish, great movie, another banger, terrific. Now, one more for you. Another one which is apt that I have I'm wearing the Speed Freaks apparel today because it has something to do with that. Please tell me you've seen another banger, another classic, Motocrossed.
I wish I could tell you that. I really do.
Oh my god.
Okay, but look, I'm batting 333 here, which is like an all-star average.
That's pretty good, yes. So I stumped you in
So
2 out of 3.
I was hoping and thinking that you were going to go in the direction of the Brie Larson Disney Channel original, Right on Track.
Right on track. Yes, another good one.
I was hoping you were going that way because I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. And then it was not. So.
Also great movie. I chose Motocrossed because I kid you not. There's a meme that popped up on my Instagram the other day with motocross in it, so that's what got me thinking of that. So there you go. So we did pretty good, I think, all things considered. There,
We did all right. Yeah.
I think we did like a generational thing there. So like we have plenty of people covered, which is great. Which is
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
we
We
make that's why we make
certainly
a
we
good
covered
pair.
that. Yeah. We covered that.
Okay, you want to go
Music?
music? Yeah, I have
Yeah.
one song prepared, so
You just have one?
just have one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start and then you do your, because do you have media to go with your one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'll start because I don't have any media prepared. Okay. I assembled again. I assembled songs from 2003, which is the year that the original Mean Girls was released. Um, the album Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson,
Hmm.
but specifically the song Walk Away.
Ooh.
It's also included on that track list are Since You've Been Gone, Breakaway, and Behind These Hazel Eyes.
Yeah, I think my sisters had that on CD.
Okay. I
Yes.
definitely had that CD. I
Mm-hmm.
also have a vivid memory that he's not going to like that I'm saying this, but I have a very vivid memory of my dad singing Since You've Been Gone in the parking lot of an IKEA. And you know the IKEA because it's the one at like Arizona Mills.
Right.
I
Right.
could not tell you why we were at that IKEA, but I was a kid. I was in the back seat and my dad and I were singing, and my mom was there too. But I remember my dad singing Since You've Been Gone at like the top of his lungs.
Let's
And I don't
go,
know if he I
Rob.
don't know if he
Let's
remembers
go.
this, but anyway, incredible. Um Along the same track, the song Come Clean by Hilary Duff off of the album Metamorphosis. Are you unfamiliar?
It's like I was doing my Florence Pugh there. That's what I look like
You were
for our audio listeners. No, I actually don't know that song.
it's off the same album as So Yesterday. Hilary Duff was pivotal for me as a kid. I don't know if this was in the right range for me to have mentioned this on movies, but the Lizzie McGuire movie, which I feel like was maybe like 2004, 2005-ish. I used to have that movie and I remember the DVD got scratched and it didn't
Ooh.
play and I cried. I like went up to my room and cried and my mom was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I can't watch the Lizzie McGuire movie." So I was ride or die for Hilary Duff. And so she had a music career as well. And I had this CD. I'm fairly certain I probably made my parents take me to Best Buy or something to buy Metamorphosis. Also in female pop bangers, 2003's Leave (parentheses Get Out) by JoJo.
Ah, yes.
That's a good one. It's also my
Yes,
excuse to talk about
absolutely.
how we met JoJo this past summer. JoJo was in Moulin Rouge on Broadway. She was incredible. And she came out to the stage door and I made her be in my Be Real. And it was the most awkward interaction known to man, but she was really kind about it. And I didn't realize this until recently, but I share a birthday with JoJo.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
I remember
shout
when
out
you
to
posted
JoJo.
that. I remember when you posted that picture. It didn't hit me for a second of who it was, and I was like, and I even messaged you. I was like, wait, is this who I think it is? And you were
And
like,
it
yes,
was
it is.
also demonstrating that age gap because it was either people that were like, "Oh my god, JoJo," and then it was people who were like younger that were like, "Siwa," and I was like, "No, absolutely not. Take a hike." Uh,
Not
anyway,
even
so
close.
not even close, but yeah, shout out to JoJo. My final ones I've assembled. This one's from 2002. It was "Complicated" by Avril Lavigne. That song was sung off key, slightly too loud in too many locker rooms to count when I was with ASU hockey over my 4 years there. And finally, Headstrong by Trapped, which was
Ooh,
on my very first
let's
generation
go.
iPod and introduced me to the beauty and drama of dad rock. And then the final one I assembled, which shook me. Are you a Joe Bro or whatever they call their fans, the Jonas Brothers?
No. They do have some. They have like a couple songs that are
they
cool.
do.
Like,
Like, are you like at least familiar with the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, of course I know of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, not like you didn't know that they existed, but like discography wise.
I know a couple of their songs.
Okay,
but I think they're one of those.
This one is old.
I think they're like one of those bands that I get that like this. I'm sure you're the same way, where you'll hear a song and you'll recognize the song, have no idea who the artist is for that particular song. I feel like Jonas Brothers are one of those.
Okay. I might be the last person on earth to be discovering this. I'm hoping that it's gonna like shatter some of our listeners here. The song Year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers. I'm looking at your face for any sign of right. No, different.
Conan O'Brien reference.
It's like, oh no. Not Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever it is. Also different. Year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers is a cover. I thought it was an original, but the original Year 3000 came out in 2003, and it was by a band called Busted, which might have been like a one-hit wonder, but I was like scrolling through some of like the, songs from 03 to 05 or whatever, and I saw this one in there, and I was like, this can't be the same Year 3000, but it is. I was fooled, I was deceived, I was bamboozled. I've been misled my whole adult life to thinking that the Jonas Brothers created Year 3000, and it's simply not true.
You thought that the Jonas Brothers has made the greatest song of all time. You were the people that thought that Luke Combs was the guy who made
absolutely not.
NASCAR.
Don't you dare. No, don't you dare put me in that group. No, stop it. We will not have Tracy Chapman erasure on this podcast.
Friendship ended.
No, not friendship ended. We don't care about Luke Combs.
No, we don't. I'm just making the comparison that you not knowing that it was a cover, the Jonas Brothers song was a cover, is.
Did you know it was a cover?
Which one? I didn't know either was a cover.
Did you know that Year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers was a cover?
No, didn't even know it existed. Did you know
that Fast Car was a cover?
No, I did not.
Friendship ended. Get out. Get out. You were about to come at me for that when you yourself did not know about the Tracy Chapman version of that song.
This is true. To be honest, I didn't know that the Luke Combs version of the song existed either. Well, I don't.
It's not. It's not. It's nothing compared to the original.
I agree. Great list. Okay. Great list for you on your part, by the way. There were some good ones in there. Kelly Clarkson, A++ for that. Since you've been gone,
I've seen going around the internet, it's like Kelly Clarkson covering other people's songs, and she almost always does them as well or better than the original.
Dude, she crushes that. It's karaoke.
Like
the karaoke stuff.
If I'm an artist, I don't want Kelly Clarkson going anywhere near my song because she's gonna do it better.
Shout out to the first American Idol.
There's also. Can I circle it back to Anne Hathaway? Yes. I think it's karaoke, but it's like they play the instrumental and you have to figure out what song it is. And Anne Hathaway knew Since You've Been Gone before Kelly Clarkson knew Since You've Been Gone.
I remember seeing that video. That was great.
Face down. She's face down on the stage in despair and defeat while Anne Hathaway crushes Since You've Been Gone. Yeah, that's a pivotal moment on the internet.
All right, I only got one song for you. This was for some reason the first song that came to mind for me because I wanted to come up with something that was, I remember being like elite level, top of the list. Like it was at the top of like VH1's top 20 countdown for a while. It wasn't this particular band's lead single. It was like the second single afterwards, but the first single still overplayed to this day. So I wasn't going to go with that one. So I went with this one instead. Came out in 2003. I was in seventh grade, I think, when this song came out. I think.
Okay.
Somewhere, 6th or 7th grade. One or two. Let's see if you remember this one. Here we go. I'm going to play it for our audio listeners. I'm also going to play the chorus. But...
Yeah, the dick is not even though you need a golden calculator to divide the time it took to look inside and realize that real guys go for real down to Mars, girls. Yeah, I know you'd like to thank you. Don't stay, but lean a little.
We're gonna get popped for this on YouTube. But this is a banger, so we're just gonna let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're so getting copyrighted for that, but it's worth it.
That was worth it to go back. That was Outcast Roses, ladies and gentlemen, which is
that is a song that going back to your point, I know the song. I did not necessarily know the name of it. But yeah, Outkast famously like Hey Ya.
Yes, exactly. Didn't want to play Hey Ya because it's overplayed. Yes.
They have a much deeper discography than that. And they also have some harder like rap R&B stuff that doesn't sound anything like Hey Ya, which I feel like people also don't know about, that they just assume that that's their sound universally, but they are a deep dive there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that song was like, I remember like my friends and I playing that song on a loop, like that and Hey Ya. We used to like love those two songs. So forgotten bangers, everybody, taking you 20 years back in the time cycle, either making everybody feel really young or really old. One of the two.
Really, really old personally over here. Raise your hand if you've ever felt personally victimized by Richie's Forgotten Bangers section.
By the way, if you ever go back, like if you go back and you mention a lot of the good ones from around that time, like 2003, 2004, that entire era of music, like was so good. Like there's some like just terrific stuff from that time. And I don't know why I feel like that is, but I feel like that was like my formative years in terms of really like starting to figure out my own taste in music. And so there were many good ones. So many good ones
for sure
that time. All right, let's get into fetch or not fetch. Shall we do that?
Let's do it. Fetch or not fetch. We're rebranding temporarily the green flag, red flag game into fetch and not fetch. I've only assembled like one thing on the fetch, so I might let you lead on that one. But we've assembled
this is all,
quite a few things.
I have a bunch of not fetch too. I don't have much fetch this week.
Yeah, we're assembling some things that are mostly not fetch. So we'll see. Do you want to lead?
I'll go first. Okay, so the theme of the episode, and I'm bringing this back here. Couple tweets going around about this. Not fetch. Hating on musicals just because it's a musical.
Yep.
Not cool. Not cool. And this is coming from somebody who, as a young person, was kind of like that. I did not like musicals as a kid. I think you and I have talked about this previously.
I think so.
Did not like musicals. Wasn't my thing. Was like, oh, this is stupid. Blah blah blah. Then you grow up and you're like, dude, these people that make this stuff are really talented. They're great artists, and they should be appreciated. So please don't hate on other people's interests when it comes to musicals.
Correct.
That's simple.
It's okay if you don't enjoy it. Just don't be a hater about somebody else's interest. That is not fetch.
Not fetch. All right. Next one on my list. This is very topical, although by the time people listen to this on Friday, Saturday, next week, it's going to be old news probably, but I just need to... This is my biggest hot take of 2024, Jordan. People coming at me on Twitter over this. People think I'm crazy, but I will not let go of this. Not fetch in 2024. Stadiums that do not have domes. Not fetch.
Can you imagine like putting a dome on a beautiful outdoor stadium in Miami? I certainly can't. No.
Yes, because it rains all the time in Florida.
So what about baseball? Most of baseball stadiums are open.
Put them in domes too.
No, don't put them in domes.
It's the middle of the summer.
No, you mean to tell me that you want to put the San Diego Padres in a dome?
Look, I love Petco Park, okay? Don't get me wrong. Petco Park is one of the most beautiful parks in the country, okay? But outdoor stadiums
we're not putting a roof on that.
Outdoor stadiums are not fetch. Not fetch.
Okay, but But if we didn't have outdoor Arrowhead Stadium, we would not have been blessed with all of the memes of Taylor Swift looking through a fogged, half frozen over window, scraping at it with her credit card last night. We would not have Andy Reid's mustache freezing on his face.
That was great for the memes. The football, awful.
Yeah, arguably it's
Unwatchable.
bad for the football, but like this is week, 19?
Mm-hmm.
This is week 19. The other 18 weeks, look up, like, there's famously, I think it's Calvin Johnson. It's an old Lions game, and he, like, there's snow all over the ground, and he catches a ball, makes a tackle, gets up, and there's snow all in his face mask. Or
Dumb.
like
Why? That's not interesting.
Or like the Chicago Bears a couple of years ago that all went like polar bear sliding through the rain, through the wet grass. So fun though. Let them have fun. The NFL is already the no fun league.
It's not fun for fans to be in that weather. The football is awful. Don't put us through that. We have the technology to make this stuff better. Make it better.
No, I can't agree with you. If you're a fan and you're a diehard for your team, you'll go sit out in the weather. Who cares? People do it in Green Bay every single season. Packers fans are ride or die.
No, maybe it's because, again, I live in Arizona and I get cold when it's below 60.
If you are from a temperate climate, you're not allowed to make that. It is 1 degree outside right now. There is snow on the ground. My car is buried. I'm not getting anywhere even if I wanted to today. You're not allowed to make that point.
Again, today's theme of the episode, which is friendship ended.
Friendship ended. We're beefing right now. We're really beefing.
All right, I got one more not fetch.
Okay.
Because I saw a lot of people doing this on Twitter, and I was like, please stop, which is don't record screens in a movie theater in the year 2024. Please don't make movie theaters take your phones away. Like, you know, at concerts, sometimes they'll have those like packages.
Mm-hmm.
You put your phone in the package. That's what we should do, honestly. Because recording the screen
like that didn't used
stupid.
To be a thing either.
No, it didn't.
We could go back to our etiquette episode on this. That didn't used to be a thing.
No. TikTok generation. This didn't start until TikTok.
Yeah, like I saw a lot of people doing it for the Eras Tour movie that I was in, which I guess is like maybe a little bit different, but it's still bad etiquette. Like it's still a movie theater, even though it's a movie of a concert. Like don't put your flash on and record things. Just let people experience the movie themselves. And like I was sitting kind of far in the front of my Mean Girls showing, so I couldn't tell if anybody was doing this in my theater. Were people doing it in yours?
I was like front row. So I had people, everybody behind me. I have no idea what they were doing.
I assume though you're just pulling from, it's the one that's going viral where it's somebody's recording and then everybody groans when Katie starts singing.
Yep.
Also worth mentioning, at that point in the film, we've already been through 2 or 3 songs.
Exactly.
People just are not into it, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, don't do that. That's not fetch.
All right, what do you got?
That's pretty much all I had. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I don't really have a lot to complain about this week. We can move to fetch, I suppose.
Yes, what do you got for fetch?
My fetch, I just have one, but apparently things that are fetch right now. Josh Wine. You're not familiar?
Well, I've seen the memes, but it might be the dumbest meme in the history of mankind because I don't understand why it started.
I don't know either. It's like somebody tweeted this, and it was like, enough of, I think it was Barefoot, and they were like, enough of like the cheap Barefoot wines, like buy Josh, and they were like trying to play it off as this like high quality wine when I'm pretty sure like price point wise they're relatively similar. Like no one would say that Josh is like a high caliber fancy wine, but then obviously as the internet does, they took it and ran with it, and now it's on everything. And it's just, and then some people chimed in, and they were then talking about there's apparently another wine called Justin, and it's just like we need to we need to stop this. But the internet loves to have a meme to connect around, and there seems to be a new one every week, and this just happens to be in right now. It happens to be fetch at the moment. So
yeah, we're not.
I don't have any personal experience, but
yeah, Jordan and I still haven't moved on from Big Dog.
no, we love Big Dog. We love Big Dog. Big Dog will never die in our circle, personally.
It's going to get a mention on every episode for the rest of the year.
It should. Maybe I'll try and sneak Tiger Woods into our thumbnail or something going forward.
All right, we have 12 minutes left in this episode. It is time. What did I do with my phone? Here it is. All right. It is time for our Mean Girls musical movie draft. We're going to pick every song. There was 12 songs on the released version.
Yes.
And we're going to draft 6 songs apiece, and then we can let the people vote who had the best roster. Now,
okay,
we were
like
trying
fantasy draft.
Yeah, exactly. We were trying to figure out who goes first here. I don't think we actually decided on this.
I was trying to decide a way to give myself the first pick, which feels correct and on brand for me. I think because I personally have many more hours spent listening to the cast recording and Reneé rap, as we're calling this the Reneé Rapp-ort, I should go first. But I'm willing to play a rock, paper, scissors with you to make this even.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Best
I'm
2
willing
out
to
of
rock,
3.
paper, scissors to make. Best 2 out of 3. There's such a lag on this video. Okay, wait. Are we doing
All right. Nope. Okay,
one,
we'll just
two,
do it one
three,
time.
shoot?
Yeah, so we're going to hang on. Yeah, we'll go 1, 2, 3, shoot.
So shoot on shoot, not after shoot.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Okay, ready?
Yes. I just gave away my answer.
Okay, change it. Okay.
1,
2,
2,
Richie, 3.
3.
He's waiting. He's lagging me out. Shoot.
Ah!
Okay, we can't have
It's a tie.
tied. We
It's a
can't have-
tie.
Okay, screw it. I'm going first.
I have a
Whatever.
random number generator pulled up. What if we do that instead?
Alright,
Here we
fine.
go.
Okay, random number between 0 and 10. Closest without going over.
Closest without going over. Hang on. Let me
Okay.
pull this up. That way we know there's no shenanigans. There it
Oh, he's
is.
putting it on screen. All right. Closest without
Yeah.
going over.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 8.
I'm going to go with 3.
Ooh, here we go. Oh! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Whatever. Whatever. We're beefing again. So
Thank
while
you.
Richie's
Thank you, Tobias
rejoicing
Reader.
his unfair victory here, just a note from me personally. There are 21 songs on this cast recording. There were only 13 on the movie soundtrack, one of which is the one that plays during the end credits montage. So it does change the game and the perspective of how many songs they fit in the movie. So if you're grumbling about it, first of all, know that it could have been worse. But also there were some changes, which we can talk about as we draft here. But there were some changes in the track list, obviously in the production and the instrumentals and things, but fine. Take your first pick.
You know what it is? I already mentioned it earlier in the show.
It is
With the first pick in the 2024 Mean Girls album draft, Team Richard selects World Burn.
it's a good choice. It's a really good choice. I can only complain a little bit. I do think this scene in the film was done really, really well, and this was like my number 2 or 3 selection, I think. My
You're
number
telling
1
me I could have gone it
selection-
later in the draft?
Maybe, but you'll never know.
Crap.
Maybe that was a reach pick. How do you feel about that, Commissioner
best
Richard?
Best player available on my
I'm
board. Okay.
I'm about to get Christian McCaffrey at number 2
Yeah.
here.
You know what just happened? What,
Hmm.
in your opinion, I just took Bryce.
You just took Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I
and
just
he
took
got hurt.
I just took Bryce Young, and now you're just sitting there ready to take CJ Stroud.
Yep, I'm sitting there on my draft board taking CJ Stroud. With my number 1 pick, I select someone gets hurt. This is an obvious number 1 choice for me. I feel like it was pretty similar to the musical version, but seeing it on screen was also, they changed some things and it really added a little bit of drama, added a little bit of tension to that scene that wasn't necessarily there in the stage adaptation. Like, that song has always been good, but it gave it some more weight. Like, the choreography, I can't complain about this one. So I'm taking Someone Gets Hurt at number 1.
That was that entire scene that takes place like at the party was great. Like Avantika's song was great too, and she was terrific in the movie as well.
Yeah,
so
she was.
Okay. This is great, man. This is lining up perfect for my draft board. I flippin' love this because with the 3rd overall pick in the 2024 Mean Girls recording album draft, Team Richard selects Meet the Plastics.
That one really fell down the board for me. So talk about why you liked it.
I liked it because this was the first time in the movie that we meet Regina.
Mm-hmm.
And iconic outfit. I will say as a male viewer, top notch, 10 out of 10. Okay, I'll just leave it at that.
As a viewer, we don't even have to generalize that. What's not to like? The reason this one fell for me is because on the Broadway version, there's a segment for the other 2 plastics in this song as well. So Gretchen gets to introduce herself a little bit. Karen gets to introduce herself a little bit. And I feel like it's a more well-rounded introduction to the characters. And Karen's number in this is fantastic in the Broadway number. Kate Rockwell is incredible in this role. So if you haven't listened to the cast album version, go do that. See if you like it. That's where they pulled like I once saw her put a D in the word orange. That I think that came from that song and not from the original script. So that one fell for me. So I'm okay with that.
All right. Number 4 overall here. Number 4
my number 2. I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to think about what you would take, and I'm strategizing here, but I'm going to go with A Cautionary Tale. I'm going to go with our introductory number. I like the arrangement of that. I like that we have Janice and Damien leading things off. There's good chemistry between them immediately that just carries through the film. And we get to right away see the chops from Ali Carvalho. Yes, Carvalho. I made a pronunciation guide and then I immediately abandoned it. But she's great. If you don't know about her, she is the lead. She's the voice of Moana, which is probably where you've heard her before. But her chops, both singing and acting, are incredible in this. She's a fantastic Janice. There were definitely shades of her pulling from the original. Like sometimes she would deliver lines and they would sound exactly the same. So I loved that. I think she did a fantastic job. It was a really well-rounded character, and we can talk about Jaquel Spivey as Damien as well, but he was incredible the whole time.
That's one of my favorite things. And part of the reason why I like this version better than the original is I think the casting here is better than the original, in my opinion. Like I liked Janice and Damien better in this movie and their chemistry and their comedy in this movie more so than the original.
I can see where you're going with that. It was just I think it was a very different take on Damien while still being in the lines. Obviously more modern, like this is the new generation's Janice and Damien. They did a great job. He was really, really funny the whole time. He's also a Broadway star. Most recently was in A Strange Loop, which I believe won the Tony Award for Best Musical. So yeah, he's Broadway stage A-list as well. Stacked cast, did a great job. So I'll take that one.
All right, here we go. 5th overall for me. This is just lining up beautifully for me, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited with the 5th overall pick in the 2024 Mean Girls draft. Team Richard selects Revenge Party. Speaking of Janice and Damien, I'm taking
Mhm.
Revenge Party. This entire the song not only is a lot of fun if you just listen to it on its own, but the way they did this this scene in the movie is just so much color, so much fun. It felt the most like big Broadway style
Yeah.
number in the movie, at least, and it was so much fun. And that's why it's my number 3 pick, 5th overall for me.
All right. I like that. I also, again, I'm a devotee of the
Revenge
Broadway
Party.
cast version, which is a little bit different. They did a little lyric change in, I believe, the second or third verse there. This one just, I'll say this about a couple of the Janice-led numbers in the movie, is that in the Broadway musical, they're a little bit rougher, like a little bit edgier, leaning a little more on the guitar sound, and sort of more like punk rock. And so I think the score here was lacking maybe a little bit of that like punchiness that I really like from the Broadway version.
Actually,
Anyway.
real quick, before you make your next pick, that's kind of something I've seen from people on social media who are fans of the Broadway, is that they thought that the movie was a little too much pop.
Yeah.
As opposed to the kind of the original Broadway. And I've never listened to the original cast recording. I think I might now, just to get a better idea for kind of what they were going for, and to kind of understand people's criticisms a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I will, like, as somebody who had never listened to the original cast recording, I kind of appreciate that more pop sound, because I felt like it was a little bit more crowd pleasing in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely more. Yeah, it's definitely more palatable for like a general audience. I'll say that whole sequence reminded me of the Me music video. Can I say that?
Yeah,
it did. It did.
Yeah, very colorful. Yes,
very colorful. Anyway, my next pick, I'm going with. I'm gonna take. I'm down to 2 choices here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to well round it here. I'm going to try not to take 2 of the same lead artist here. So I'm going to take Sexy by Avantika. This is the Karen led number. It's great. This number is great.
Terrific, because that was going to be my next pick, damn it.
Yep. This number is great on the Broadway stage. It translated so well to the movie. Avantika was great. There were a couple scenes where like it was very subtle, but she was like wearing her Karen necklace and it was backward, and we were like,
yes, I caught that too. That was great.
So she's great. That was a really, really good number, and I liked it.
My favorite part of her version of Karen originated by Amanda Seyfried in the original movie. It was great. Obviously,
we love Amanda Seyfried on this podcast. My mom, by the way, I texted my mom and I was like, "What's your favorite line from the original Mean Girls?" And she's like, "It's almost like I have ESPN or something." It's like there's a 30% chance it's already raining. We love Karen.
Yes, and like my favorite part of Avantika's version of Karen is just like this just dumbfounded look on her face. The entire movie was just perfect.
It was like there's nothing happening behind those eyes.
And that's another number in the movie that is really well done. Like it was a lot of fun to watch, and we get a cameo during that scene as well.
We do,
which we're not going to spoil here. We're not going to spoil because I rather enjoyed when this particular cameo showed up.
No spoilers.
Okay, so that was, you literally stole what was going to be my next pick, so that stinks. So I have to go out of order here. Got to go out of order. So I had Sexy number 5 on my list. I had
he's got a draft board written up here.
I do.
Look at him. He has a draft board.
I had Someone Gets Hurt at number 4 on my list. So you took that as well.
That's okay.
So
I'm fine reaching.
You took a couple of my favorites.
My CJ Stroud.
So here we go. So with the number, we're at number 7. I'm going to take my number 7 overall. Actually, oh wait, no. My 6 overall pick is still there.
He's trading.
I think I'm going to take it. Even though I like both of these too. I'm gonna go with my original board here. All right, what are we at? With the number 7th overall pick here in the 2024 Mean Girls draft. Team Richard is gonna select "I'd Rather Be Me."
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I do feel the same about that one as I do about some of the other Janice led numbers, is that it's lacking a little bit of punchiness, but I can't complain about Ali Carvalho. She did a great job with that. It was fun.
And there's a sense of like "fu" in there, which I love.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. She got like her number, her moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a great number. I like that choice there. You did skip over my choice, which is Apex Predator.
Yep. That was gonna be my next one. Yep. That was
I almost took that one. I almost took that one where I took Sexy, but I thought I might let it fall and see if it's still on the board. So I think that's my hidden diamond pick there. I mean, what's not to like about that one? It's funny. It's just poking fun at Regina the whole time. The Broadway version of the number is great. I know I've said that about a lot of them. I feel a very deep personal connection to the Broadway numbers. I think, though, this is, and I'll say this, that as the movie went on, we see, oh no, hold on, where's my pronunciation guide here? Angourie Rice. We see her, Katie, sort of get her own voice a little bit more. Like at the beginning, I think her numbers were a little bit like lighter, softer, and then as it goes on, she sort of gets her voice a little bit more and is got a little bit more power to it. We kind of see her come into her own as her character comes into her own, so that's reflected really well. This is one of the first times we see her like kind of have a lot of energy and like gusto in the number, and she did a really great job. And it's fun to see Katie and Janice interact in that way. Still my favorite interaction is the three of them after the art show when Damien's driving the jazzy scooter. It's like, Janice, I cannot stop this jazzy. I have a curfew.
So I will say Corey was not the biggest fan of the movie, but she was still a big fan of Damien in this movie as she was in the first movie. And that was one of the things that we were joking about afterwards, was that particular scene. All just cracked up laughing. It was too much. Too much. All right, my next
pick.
All right. This is where it gets a little tough here. A little tough because we're getting into the weeds of songs that aren't as memorable as everything else we've taken so far. I think the draft has gone pretty much according to plan.
I'm going to have to assemble some final draft like graphics for us so people can vote on those.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Okay. We're at number 9? Number 9 overall? Okay, number 9 overall. I am going to take What's Wrong With Me at number 9 overall.
That's a great choice. I almost took that one. Is this our chance to talk about Ashley Park a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ashley Park. So she was the original Gretchen on Broadway. And I think she was recently in, was it Emily in Paris? She was recently in a big series for a streaming service. Anyway, though, Ashley Park was this version of Gretchen, I think, both from the Broadway musical and from the new movie, is just, I like her because in a way more so than the original, which again is near and dear to our hearts, she feels like she's balancing on this tightrope between just above a mental breakdown, but just barely the whole time. She's very kind of on the edge of neurotic and losing her sanity. And I think it's funny to see her do that. And Ashley Park played that really, really well in the Broadway musical. And Baby Wood did a great job with this in the film. I thought, Bebe, the Moira Rose pronunciation. If you like fruit wine as much as I do. So anyway.
Fold it in, David. Just fold it in.
You fold it in. Where were you? Nobody could get a hold of you and your phone was off. We could do a Schitt's Creek episode, but I texted Alexis. So anyway, Baby Wood did a great job with this. She was very faithful to the Broadway adaptation while still kind of putting her own spin on it. I really liked her Gretchen. I think this is a good choice.
All right, number 10.
With that said, I'm going to go with the closing number, I See Stars, off of the Spring Fling dance. One thing I didn't recall happening in the original film, which might have, but I thought was very funny and got a lot of laughs from my audience, was when she's breaking off pieces of the crown and she's throwing them to people, and she throws one to Regina and she just sort of like smiles and waves her arms and it goes right through her. I thought that was really, really funny. Like I don't necessarily remember that happening in the original, but as I said earlier, I think Katie's character sort of gets some weight and gets her voice throughout the film. This is a really good closing number. It's really fun, sort of ties everything together. I liked it in the musical. I liked it on screen. I wouldn't change anything. I have no notes from that. I think it's pretty faithful and pretty good and leaves people on a good note. So
best part of one of my favorite lines in the back half of this movie is is Regina, and she's in the bathroom with Katie, right? And and it's like something like if you were a guy or whatever. And
yes.
And she goes,
she's like, do you know what they would call me if I was a boy? Reginald.
Reneé Rapp appreciation, ladies and gentlemen.
So good. And then she follows it up. She's like, I like you, but this pain medication makes me like everyone.
That was great. That was one of that. Again, that line was really funny.
That is really funny.
All right. We have 2 songs left.
2 left.
If I'm not mistaken. So what do we have left here on my list? Okay. So I'm just going to take my number 10 overall here. I will be honest with you. My least favorite songs in this movie were the Katie songs.
These ended up at the bottom of my list too.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I do feel bad. And I think Angourie Rice did a fantastic job as the character, which I could say this. I can preface this now. Like, even though we didn't necessarily like her songs quite as much, I think the way that she played the character with the dialogue, with her acting choices, like obviously that's such a hard role because we all grew up with Lindsay Lohan's Katie, and we're obviously going to be comparing them all to each other, but she was really, really good, had a lot of depth, like felt like she kind of owned the character and made it her own as best as she could, which is a very hard thing to do. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm going to take, with my final pick, and this is the 11th overall pick in the draft, I am taking What Ifs. What Ifs.
Okay, that's actually a surprising choice. I had that as last on mine, for the reason that it's completely different from her introductory song on the cast album. That actually is called It Roars. So it's a total pivot. It's very different. The lyrics are all different. The melody is all different. I was a little bit surprised when it happened because I didn't obviously listen to the movie soundtrack before I saw it. It was fine. I don't think there was anything particularly wrong with it, but I also don't think there's anything particularly wrong with It Roars, other than like maybe vocally it would have been a little bit hard because we had Erica Henningsen on the original cast album, who obviously is a classically trained Broadway singer. So for an actress without that background, maybe vocally it was too difficult, and so they had to kind of change it and write it. But I didn't really see a reason to switch that out. Like, it didn't add or take away any extra exposition or introduction to the character. I thought it was fine.
I appreciate the context because I'm like I said, I'm very curious how people kind of perceive the differentiations in this, and overall you seem to be pretty on board with what this movie was doing musically.
Sure.
Understanding that it was just a different adaptation, seemingly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like,
no, that's kinda, so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's how I kind of feel about it, is just doing the same thing is a little boring. So like, I feel like you
absolutely,
in any new adaptation, you want to do something different and make it different, not for the sake of being different, but just to,
it keeps
be
it keeps it
challenged
fresh.
artistically or whatever, you know? And
It keeps
and
it
kind of like
fresh.
you
Nobody
said,
wants to see the same thing.
maybe they were doing that to kind of play to whoever they were trying to cast in the roles and
Yeah.
and to better fit their voices and their abilities, etc., etc.
Yeah. So that my final pick, I guess, ends up being Stupid with Love, which I also like. I think that's a fun number. That's how we get the like it's October 3rd. That's how you get the intro to Katie and Aaron together. So that ends up being my final pick, which I'm fine with. I had that as 11 out of 12 on my board, so I jumped up a little bit there. The point that I was gonna make, like you said, it's a little bit fan service because obviously they're realizing that a lot of people that saw the original will also want to see this, or the people that saw the Broadway musical are going to want to see this, and they had to put enough of those little nods in there and like the consistency in there for people to know what's going on and feel in on the joke. But it's also like this is going to be Mean Girls for the next generation of Mean Girls enjoyers, and I think it's important to have that perspective. So it doesn't have to be the same. This can be the gateway for a lot of younger people into Mean Girls, and then they can retroactively go back and find all those things that we loved about the original and, feel connected to the brand through the people and the voices and the actors and actresses and the songs that are now the most recent iteration of it. So I think they did a fine job. And because I picked second, I get to have Not My Fault as my bonus track. So suck it.
We weren't going to count that originally, damn it.
Whatever. It's my rules now. I can count it. Whatever. I'm getting cheese fries.
I'll put that on the list. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Because you picked second and because I hadn't seen Princess Diaries and our friendship was over.
Actually, yeah. You should be
show.
paying me. You should be paying me
that.
for that transgression, like a toll booth.
All right, let's recap what we got here. I have the list in front of me. I don't know if you kept track, but I did.
I kept track vaguely, but since we're already way over time, just okay.
What is new?
Literally what's new. Okay.
All right, Team Richard.
Yep.
I have World Burn, Meet the Plastics, Revenge Party, I'd Rather Be Me, What's Wrong with Me, What Ifs. Jordan has Someone Gets Hurt, A Cautionary Tale, Sexy, Apex Predator, I See Stars, Stupid with Love, and Not My Fault. So if you're listening to us, watching us, let us know. Jordan's gonna put together a graphic, being the graphics maven that you are, and we're gonna let people choose who has the best draft among us. And you can follow along on our social media channels at OHOBC Pod, Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok. Jordan, you specifically wanted me to mention our social media handles.
Okay, you're doing a great job of it. I want to disclaimer that, but I realized after last episode, because I've had to listen to them back, and I was like, we are not doing a great job of promoting this for our audio listeners because they could find us, but it's going to take a little bit of work. We want to make it as easy for you all as possible to enjoy us wherever you get your social content. So Richie did a great job of following the note that I had in my doc, which is please talk about the socials a little bit more.
At OHOBC Pod, ladies and gentlemen.
Because we're great at branding and brand consistency.
On brand. We are way over. Do we have enough time to get to the One Brain Cell Award? You have a good one this week, so
we might as well,
we should wrap with that. So
we should Reneé wrap with that.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you so much.
That's going in the recap video.
Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna lead with that.
Yep. The Reneé recap. That doesn't work as good, but it's still funny. Okay. Anyway, my One Brain Cell. This text comes from October 23rd, 2023. So not October 3rd, sadly, even though it's close enough. I can't say I even remember the context of this, but this is a series of text messages between myself and my friend Mac. And let me get the screenshot of my own words here because this is like pulling up court evidence. Like the defendant doesn't remember what they said. The text from me, which again, I don't remember the context, but says, as Mother Reneé says, young ex-wife, which is like it's like her thing. It's kind of her brand or whatever it may be. And Mac replies, Mother, you say, and then as if she's not 3 years younger than you. And I said, what? Period. Wait, what? Says, yeah. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, apparently she was born in 2000. Said she's a 2000 baby. Yeah, I know, in all caps. And I replied, this is devastating news. She goes, it rocked my world when I learned it too. I'm sorry to have to be the one who shifted your worldview. And I said, no, that's okay. I just need the next 5 to 6 business years to process. So anyway, people are out there on Twitter with the whole like mother is mothering thing. And I should have just done a better job at my research because I didn't realize that she's like 24 to my 26 and ruling the world, arguably. So I feel like I've underachieved at this point in my lifespan.
Yeah, happy late birthday, Reneé. Her birthday was last week by the time you're listening to this. So
yeah.
All right. So we usually do this on a scale of 1 to 10. Or sorry, Jesus, 1 to 5.
1 to 10.
Just making up new stuff on.
You're just making up the rules as you go here. What is this?
Yes, dang right. 1 to 5. I don't even remember the scale. Is it 5 is like
5 is like it could happen to anyone. 1 is like you forgetting to clean the lint trap.
It was the opposite.
No. 1 is like you forgetting to clean the lint trap. It's like the number of cumulative brain cells that you have. So like 5 is the most brain cells, 1 is the least.
Speaking of one brain cell moment, I can't remember what I did yesterday, unless the last time we gave our stars for the one brain cell.
Yeah. What did you have for dinner?
All right. I'm going to give that. I'm going to give that a 4.13.
3.141592652359. That's all the digits of pi I know. And arguably the last couple are probably wrong.
Yeah, not your fault that you didn't know how old somebody is, I guess.
You would say it's not my fault?
Hey, there we go. By the way, before we go, I just want to point out, I was talking about, my friends and I were talking about the movie last night, and everybody was making fun of me because they were like, oh, Richie, the only reason you like the movie is because Reneé Rapp is hot. And I was like, no, that's not the case.
That's not the only reason.
It was a fun film, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun film. All right.
It was a fun film.
We're way over time, so we're just gonna say goodbye here.
You have no one brain cells?
I don't think so. Did I text you something? I think I had something.
Let me see. Let me pull up the receipts here. I can pull up the receipts on Richie. Let's see. We were talking a lot about the women's basketball game that happened last night, which we're not going to mention because I'm so good on talking about that. I don't know. I almost have to give you points because you cooked the open. You kind of cooked the title. Like he's kind of cooking right now. But I don't know. I'll say you ended up even because you cooked a little bit on the episode details, but you didn't cook on not wearing the romp him for today's episode.
I know. I thought about it. Don't think I could fit into it. Do not think I could fit into it.
He's net neutral. I guess he's net neutral here. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. One of us has to lose. But it'll be you on the song draft, so that's fine.
We'll see.
Come at me. Come at me, bro.
We'll see. All right. Well, make sure you follow us, everybody, at OHOBC Pod on all of your social media channels. We got some good stuff cooking up this week. Jordan's going to come up with some great TikToks. We'll have the vote on who won the draft. We'll have more exciting things coming down the stretch. We both have our Julian Baker mugs.
Yeah. Should we cheers to that? Should we virtual cheers? Yeah.
Cheers.
As you wave it in front of the camera.
it's like a magic wand.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have it is printed on the back as well.
Duncan is the proletariat coffee.
Duncan is the
ladies and
proletariat
gentlemen.
coffee. All right,
All right.
Richie, send us off.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening. Reneé Rapp, thank you for your incredible performance.
Thank you for your contributions to pop culture and society so far. More to come.
Thank you for listening to the Reneé Rapp-ort. Goodbye, everybody. Talk to you soon.